Paul, there are zombies! We have to get inside!
Yeah, I know, we have to review Zombie 15. Are you not bored of zombies yet? They've oozed their way into popular culture and they're groaning out of their own boredom with themselves.
No, but Zombie 15 makes
Zombie 15.
exciting.
Does it?
Zombie is exciting.
Where's the light switch? Zombies used to be a curiosity. They used to be something interesting. Back in the 60s and 70s, they were unique and a way to critique consumerism or examine the way that we treat ourselves. And somehow they're everywhere. They're tired. They've dripped their way into everything. You know what we used to do? We used to make apocalypse fiction about nuclear war or the fear of communism or space and how big and intimidating space is and the awe of that. And zombies are the monsters of the social media age. They are literally us, and they're around us and in our towns and walking down our roads, and they're just a reflection of how we're increasingly obsessed with ourselves. Rather than, we used to make exciting stuff about the future and exploration and technology, and zombies are none of that.
Well, you know what else is quite boring?
What?
Actually, Paul, it's you. Why don't you give me the game and I'll actually start like a board game review?
Give me the camera.
Rather than just complaining. So, Zombie 15 is a real-time cooperative zombie game, and don't listen to Paul because this, if anything, is going to make you fall in love with zombies again. It is this.
Actually what it could be is,
Paul!
a metaphor, because they're teenagers and it's about how they're breaking out and expressing themselves in a society where everything is all the same.
It is a 15-minute real-time game where you all play 15-year-olds. Now, let's look at how that real-time thing works. Here, give me the camera,
Right. Fine. Real-time play. Like Space Alert. If you've seen our review of Space Alert, and if you haven't, please do. Or Escape from the Temple. Zombie 15 is a game that is defined by a soundtrack, a 15-minute soundtrack on a CD. That's the length of time you have to play a game, but to take turns nevertheless in real time, while the soundtrack occasionally prompts you with certain events. Now, what you can do on a turn is 4 or sometimes 5 things, depending on how many players you are. You could move a space, or you could fight some zombies, maybe kill all the zombies on that space, or go into a building and then search in that building and I've just found more zombies. But that's what you do until you've run out of things you can do, or until you're in a bind and you decide that you just want to pass. You can always pass to the next player. Same thing happens again. They then have their own turn and they do however many things they need to do.
Yeah, wait, take the camera.
Before it comes back to you eventually.
Now, passing might seem like a terrible thing to do in a game where you've got 15 minutes to escape a zombie-infested suburb, but you will, because let's look at how combat works. Look at Will here. Will is probably the least sexy person in a game of sexy teenagers, but you see the weapons here. They're going to have an attack value. Every time you use that, you kill 3 zombies in this case, but you slide that down by 1. So look, we move Will in here. He kills 3 zombies, degradation falls down. Hooray! So your weapons are constantly degrading, so you need to constantly look for new weapons. And maybe, but there's a second value here, which is this stop value, which might be different on different weapons, and that's how many zombies you can survive with them being in your space, even if you can't kill them, even after your weapons have run out of ammo. So it's very much like that zombie stereotype thing, the social media thing of look to your right now, and the first object you see, that's your weapon for defending yourself in a zombie apocalypse.
It's a pillow.
And likewise, no, that's bad. Likewise, you're going to be going through houses, you're going to be finding golf clubs, and you're going to be finding magnums, and you're going to be finding katanas and Uzis, and well, this is all looking pretty dangerous, or just a shovel. But time's running out, so you're constantly looking for new weapons and new items, and then things break and you're looking for a new item, and break and you look for a new item, but you're meant to be doing this while also progressing through the level, which seems tough, it seems exhausting. Oh, and then of course there's the Horde, which is... Why don't you explain the Horde?
The Horde, right, okay, let me explain the Horde.
Well, I talked about that soundtrack and how it occasionally makes noises and they do particular things. Well, there's a Zombie 15 deck. As you are wandering around in Zombie 15, the CD is occasionally just going to make a noise. If it makes a noise on your turn, you've got to flip the top card of the Zombie 15 deck, and that many additional zombies will appear on your space. But if it says Horde, everything in the horde box gets dumped on your space. You see, all the weapons that you're using as you move around, oh dear, they're making noise, or some of them are making noise. Maybe you have a cavalry saber or a shovel and you just whack a zombie. It doesn't really make any noise, but if you've got an Uzi or a shotgun, that makes noise, and it doesn't just wipe zombies off the board, it drops them into the horde box, and gradually the horde box gets larger and larger. You've got this match between the constant momentum of the game that pushes you forward and has you swimming ahead like a shark forever, having to consume and grab new items because they're degrading all the time and kill off zombies, but you also have this bulging horde box. As that gets bigger and bigger, you know that it's gonna land on somebody's space, but you kind of don't care as long as it's not your space. If it's not your turn, if you've passed, if you've done as many actions as you want to do, and you've decided to have Quintin Smith or Matt Lees have a go, don't really feel quite so bad when the zombie track makes that groaning noise and the horde just falls like a waterfall upon somebody else.
Ooh, I want to say something about noise. Because Zombie 15 is a game of very simple systems that lead to very tiny decisions that lead to you screwing yourself, which is a really interesting puzzle. So when you start and you're using bows and arrows and machetes and you're not making any noise, you're going to say, this is great. We're not making a horde at all. We're getting through it silently. But slowly someone's going to end up in a position where they're in a house and they have to decide between a chainsaw and a nail gun, and they're both going to make noise, and you're going to go for the noisy weapon, and then slowly you end up slipping into the quicksand that this game puts out for you. It says, do you want to be noisy? And you go, no. But then you end up being noisy. Anyway, there's loads of fun stuff. Oh, and also, here's the thing. A lot of co-op games, we buy them and we like them because the appeal is just being part of a team, you know, working closely with your friends to run around and kill zombies and protect each other. And Zombie 15 actually does something which a lot of co-op games don't. A lot of co-op games, you know, you move a cone on a board and someone else plays a card. You're not working together. You're not a heroic unit, but in Zombie 15, you are. Zombie 15, your teenagers will be running off to save each other. Someone's going to get, you know, caught up in zombies behind, and you'll run back and say, I'll save you, and you'll kill zombies, and maybe the person you left behind will get knocked over, and it's... You are sweating and you are grabbing each other by the hand and pulling each other along.
Literally carrying each other.
You are literally carrying each other. Okay, so Lord of the Rings is the best co-op story ever told, right? And what's the best bit of Lord of the Rings? It's when
the Balrog.
Samwise Gamgee says, I'll carry you, Master Frodo. And he carries him and they're both glistening with sweat. Oh, and they're sexy and it's the best bit. And in Zombie 15, you can do that because the objective is to get to any given exit tile, right? You all have to cross it. You don't all have to be conscious. And so you often have the entirely heroic thing where you are going to pick up and carry one of your friends. You're going to drop all of your weapons to do so. This is heroic. This is real, sweaty, sexy cooperation, you know?
If you say so.
It is.
Well, okay, yeah, it's fast. It's got momentum. It always pushes things forward, but I really think I need to stand up at this point and show you something else that it's going to make Zombie 15 look great, but it actually illustrates one of the main problems.
Oh my god, wait, Paul, do you also get all of this in the box?
You get a lot in the box. It looks lovely, but the thing is, if you play a game of Zombie 15 and it takes you about 15 minutes, or maybe less, because maybe you're really good at Zombie 15 and you manage to smash your way through the town and you complete your adventure on the first turn, you kind of have to set up the next scenario, and I absolutely guarantee you that setting up a scenario this big with all these individual jigsaw piece parts of the map is going to take you probably more than 15 minutes because they all have a particular kind of code on them, and you need to find the one with the right code to go in the right place and put the right tokens on it, and then to put search things around and exit tokens and lay all the different zombies down, and that has actually taking quite a long time.
Well, yeah, okay, so there's a lot of downtime. It's a bit like when we reviewed Mansions of Madness and we had the big problem that Mansions of Madness takes longer to set up than it is ever worth it. But so something we haven't mentioned yet, is that Zombie 15 comes with an entire campaign booklet with how many missions? 15 missions, so you all play 15-year-olds and 15-minute games.
Missions.
And actually, while it is a total pain in the arse to cross-reference every individual number with the correct number of tiles, and prepping the deck as well, and the search deck and the zombie deck, what this does, and this is great, is give the game kind of a long-term pace. Wait, let's pop it in the tripod and then we can both
Let's
sit
put
down.
it in the tripod.
So we love Escape the Curse of the Temple and we love Space Alert, but those are games where you panic and you sweat for 10 minutes and you go, whew, then you put the game away and you don't play it for a month because you don't want to do exactly the same stressful thing again. No, Zombie 15 though starts off with a very simple game and then it introduces a rule and then it introduces another rule, then another rule, it introduces another rule and another rule, and you're going to play this over and over again. And you're going to be excited as to what the game introduces next, always building on this framework. What's wrong?
I think it's sitting in the tripod. I don't know.
Oh, it's totally in the tripod. Okay, now, also, as the game gets harder as well, because these missions do get harder, eventually something magical is going to happen, because while setting the game up is a pain in the ass, you're going to be, on one particular mission, maybe 6, you're going to be swarmed by zombies and you're not going to succeed, or you'll spend too long burgling houses and looking for golf clubs and the soundtrack will just run out. And when that happens, you're all going to go, yes! Yes, we've lost! And that means we don't have to set up the board again. And you just get to play the same mission again with the same setup.
It's kind of true. That's a weird situation that you're in, that if you actually fail in a Zombie 15 mission, you don't have to swipe the whole table clean and then painstakingly put every single thing.
So it's a game of teamwork and working together and coming up with strategies where if you win, you're a bit sad because then you'll have to go up for a cup of tea and someone else has to
It's a weird thing to say, and it
board
sounds kind of petty, but it's not an insignificant amount of the time that you'll spend with Zombie 15 is just laying everything out. But if you don't mind doing that now and then, and if, like us, you have your own board game butler to do that for you, then we could probably recommend Zombie 15.
We could. Wait, are we recommending it?
Well,
my time has stopped. What time are we on?
I don't know, mine stopped.
Oh, you're kidding. Well, let's use our best guess. The thing with board games is that it's all about whether you can come up with an excuse to get them off the shelf, right? You know, like, that's what, if you get a game off the shelf and play it loads, that's really more important than anything else. And Zombie 15, it's like, oh yeah, we could play Zombie 15, it's really cool.
It is cool, it looks lovely.
But going from let's play it to actually playing takes maybe 20 minutes to unpack everything and set up a mission. That's a pain.
It's a weird thing. You think of it as a game of pace.
I'm going to do a nice close-up while you
momentum,
talk.
But actually there is also just the fiddliness of arranging everything, and that cannot be understated. It just cannot be understated. But there's a different kind of pace happening here as well. In games like Space Alert or Escape from the Temple, you can play for just 10 minutes. Those are 10-minute rounds. And then immediately you're kind of exhausted. The whole process just knackers you. Whereas Zombie 15, there's something different happening with the way that you take turns, the way you pass the action from player to player. It allows you a breather. It allows you to assess what's going on. And it's also wonderfully simple. It's an incredibly easy game to learn. All the mechanics are quick and new things are introduced one thing at a time as the campaign evolves.
I've got something to say here. Spin it around. Spin me around, baby.
Spin it around.
Okay, so this is really the nut of why I would recommend Zombie 15 despite that ridiculous setup time. Because if you love board games and you're willing to put up with that, what you get is a game of very simple rules which leads to thematic, interesting, surprising decisions. What do you do when the Horde box has 20 zombies in it and you're mid-mission, you're going, wait, what does that mean? How do we deal with that when all the zombies stop? What do you do when you look through the search deck and you see something surprising and it's a game that shocks you and stuns you continually and yet doesn't have a massive manual, you know? It
makes you improvise and think on your feet.
It's simple, yeah, and also that pace, you know, it's so... The 10 minutes that Space Alert and Escape demand are exhausting, and it's the same note. It's the same note. You're doing the same thing in minute 1 as you are in minute 9, whereas this, you might have a turn which is just 1, 2, 3, 4. You move. That's the end of your turn. And then you have the relaxing thing of being the administrator for the player on your right's turn and placing zombies. And he says, oh, I just searched and put down 4 zombies. Oh, and then the soundtrack wants 3 more zombies to appear, you know? And then when it comes back to you, you've been doing something different for a couple of minutes. Or maybe providing feedback on other people's turns. And so when it comes back to you, you know, you have breathers, you have moments of great tension. And then you have moments of relatively relaxed stuff where there aren't that many zombies on the board and you can just run around. It's 15 minutes that goes up and down and up and down. And that's more fun than just a flat for 10 minutes, which is what some real-time games can be.
So do we recommend it? Surely we do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you have 4 friends and like the idea of being exposed to some totally unique systems with gorgeous art and just all the zombie sculpts in the world, then yeah, I absolutely recommend Zombie 15. What about you?